All right, this is an overview for what's coming up next 2 weeks. So what we're going to do is we're going to write an informative speech. Now, writing an informative speech is a step-by-step process, and it's a process that we must go through in order to do it effectively and efficiently. If you do not follow the process, you're just looking for trouble and frustration. What will happen is if you just try to put a speech together on video at the end without going through these steps, without building up to the preparation, it'll be a tough time. It'll come out terrible. You won't be happy with it, but you'll just say, well, I got the job done. But what we want you to do is do a speech and actually succeed at it. And you can if you follow the step-by-step process. Now I've got it set up for just a specific steps and a process you do. If you do that, the speech will write itself. If you don't, you try to go off what you've known before or how you've done things in the past. You're just open for a lot of frustration, and it'll be a long, long rest of the summer for you here in this, as far as this course goes. All right. So what I'm going to do is tell you the difference between an informative speech and a persuasive speech. When we do an informative speech, we want to do the what, or what is it, or how to do something. All right, so those make informative. If you have something like why this is why we should do something, that's a persuasive speech. If you tell us that something's better than something else, that's a persuasive speech. If you tell us the benefits of something, that's a persuasive speech. If you try to get us to see a different point of view or to open our minds or do anything like that, that's a persuasive speech. And we're going to be spending the last 3 to 4 weeks of the quarter on persuasive speaking. So, but we get our feet wet on informative speaking, we get these principles down, and the persuasive speech, as complex as it really is, it'll all make sense to you. All right, so the informative speech, we're going to follow these steps, and I want you to follow them exactly as I lay them out. The steps we're going to do is an audience analysis. That's the first thing you do with the speech. Now, we've already been doing an audience analysis this whole quarter so far. That's what when you wrote those introductions, tell us about yourself type thing, your name, where you're from, goals, and 2 things about yourself. And then when you did the 3 things speech, you revealed 3 things that are important to you. So as you watch those videos and you did some of the practice last week, you got to know your audience a little bit better. So we won't be filling out anything there for that because this class is the audience. But in the future, before you speak to a group, know who your audience is. Even if you're speaking to in a job interview, you've got to know as much about the person doing the hiring as you can. Or if you're today's ways you get hired by a panel to see if you can get along with the rest of the team. And so you've got to find out as much as you can about them, exactly what they're looking for and that sort of thing. So that chapter on audience analysis we read probably gave you enough information and background on the audience analysis. But the second step now in informative speech is to choose a topic. So you choose a topic based on your audience. So what is it that you think your audience will want to know? What will be interesting to them? What would they enjoy hearing about? And those sorts of things. So go ahead and so you're going to choose your topic. Then we're going to write objectives. So let's go through the numbers again. Audience analysis number 1. Choosing your topic, step number 2. Setting objectives, step number 3. Conducting research, step number 4. Writing the body of the speech is step number 5. And then adding the introduction and the conclusion is step number 6. That's what we're going to do this week. Next week, we're going to take that complete outline and we're going to extrapolate from it, and we're going to get speaking notes to practice our speeches. Now, I want to be clear. Front matter is not your outline, it's not your speech. Your outline is not your speech. It's just strictly to get you organized to give your speech. You extrapolate speaking notes from your outline. That's still not your speech. Those are just speaking notes to keep you in order. You can't have speaking notes unless you write an outline. So that's how they work together. Then when you give your speech, that's your speech. All right. So this will just show the practice. Now the key is preparation. And the key is to do things in order. Last week with the 3 things speech, I said everything due on the same dates, and some people actually did their speech, then they wrote their 3 things sentence, and then they wrote their outline. And that's kind of that's a hard way to do it. It's effective. It could be effective for something that small, but if you're doing a complex speech, or even the speech we're going to do, if you try to do it that way, you'll just be frustrated, and this will be a difficult assignment. If you follow these steps that I'm giving you, your speech will write itself. All right, so what we're going to start with is the module. So I'll go with that here. So let me bring that up on the screen. By the way, I'm doing this for both my Highline and Green River classes, and I'm trying to keep you both classes at the same spot. So if you see Highline any place and you're at Green River, think of Green River. If you see Green River on another video and you're at Highline, we're on the same page. And by the way, that's another thing I just popped into my mind. CMST 220, which you're taking, is a common number, and you're going to get the same information delivered differently depending on your teacher. However, we meet the same objectives for the University of Washington, Washington State University, Western Washington University, Eastern Washington University, Central Washington University, Evergreen State College, and I'm leaving one out someplace because I thought there were 7 of them. But anyway, for all the 7 state universities. All right, so let's look here. Let's come down into week 3. So I have written out the informative speech assignment. It's in writing, so you click on it, open it up, and it'll give you all the criteria. Now remember, I wrote that basically for a face-to-face classroom class. So just kind of convert it over. I did make minor adjustments for you as an online class. So it makes sense, and you're not wondering, well, how am I supposed to bring it to class? Well, you're not supposed to. It's just attached to Canvas. And then I have this is the first step now, is the speech topic. So you pick your speech topic. I want you to pick, you can pick one if you want, if you're sure it's going to fit into my criteria, which is basically, again, how to do something or tell us about something. Okay? So I give some ideas in there, but list them, but it's due the 14th. That's tomorrow night. All right, so make sure you get that in. So because we got to stay in order. So I've got to pace you through this thing and make sure that it's not frustrating to you. So things will be due during the week now. They're not big things. So the informative speech is due on July 14th. Here's a lecture on how to do front matter speech, which are the objectives. So go ahead and watch that. Then I have you do the objectives for your speech. All right, so you'll do that, and that's due on Wednesday night. So once you have your topic on Tuesday night, Wednesday night is the front matter, the objectives. And then once you get the objectives down and you learn that, I have a little lecture in here how to write the body of the speech. But in between here, you have to do your research. So, and I tell you how to do the research in this lecture here. But basically, go online to the library and go to databases and look into the databases. And for most of the things we want, just click on ProQuest. That'll be the best one. You can also go to Google Scholar if you like, but just don't go to Google because they're all commercial websites and they're all trying to sell you something. So the information you get there is not very reliable. It's all biased to sell a product or a service. So go to Google Scholar or go onto the library database. And you can go on the library database if you go over. I don't have it on the screen here. I don't know if I can get it in. But if maybe I can. If you go over here, to the search bar. Oops, I'm sorry, not there. Oh, I just lost everything. All right. So go up here where I got the library in here. Just click on library. And then when you go to library, it'll take you to the library's website. Then you'll see a little box that says databases, and you click on, well, here, let me show you. Why don't I just do it? Okay, so we'll open up the library. This is the Highline library, by the way. The Green River library is pretty much the same. So you can go here. You can ask a librarian if you want. You can just go onto a chat box and you write in, hey, I'm doing a speech on I don't know, how to plant peaches. And then what they'll do is, and the teacher wants me to use a database, so how do I go to the database? And then they will, or what database should I use? And the librarian will actually answer you back and say you can use ProQuest. All right. By the way, I want you to let you know, though, when you ask a librarian, it's not just the Highline librarians, or it's not just the Green River librarians. These are librarians across the country. I have gotten librarians from the University of Virginia, from North Carolina University, from Northwestern, from University of California, Los Angeles. So you get them, whoever's on this, all the libraries are on this system, and whoever you get is around there. around to pick up your chat. They will chat with you. So it's quite interesting that way. All right. So anyway, but you go up here to databases. You click on databases, and when you're on the database here, you can pick database A through Z. But the popular ones here, this is the one I think would be most useful, is for you to use ProQuest, and then you sign in with your login because this is for being a student. And then once you get into the database, and then you just put in how to plant peaches or how to grow peaches or whatever, and then that's where you'll be. All right, so let's get back to our screen here. Okay, in week 3. All right, so we got that, and then due on Friday night is you do your research and you put it together, and when your research you put the body of the speech, and I explained to you in this lecture how to come up with the body of your speech. And then then you do the complete outline. And let me just go through a couple things for you. The front matter here, let me click on that. I have a template. You take this template and you copy it. Don't change anything that I have in bold or bold and italics, all right? Leave it all there. And then put in your information right after it, okay? So you have to have audience analysis. You don't have to write anything in here. You can leave this blank, including what I put in parentheses. Just put audience analysis, then nothing else. All right, then topic, put Starbucks, put your topic, whatever it is, growing peaches. General purpose, it's to inform. Persuasive speech will be to persuade. This is to inform, that's it, nothing else. Specific purpose, you have to start out with these words. After listening to my speech, the audience will be, what will they be able to know, do, understand? And I go through that in that other lecture, so you'll catch the gist of that. And then put thesis in there, and then you have, just like the thesis we wrote before, it's one declarative sentence. You cannot have the words I, and, or, but, because, therefore, however, so that, although. It can't have any of those words in there at all. Okay, let me move back. And then, so complete outlines due Sunday. And then once we get that, that'll set us up for the next week to get ready for our speeches to deliver. We'll practice those. And we'll talk on, for my Highline class, we'll talk on Thursday more about this. All right, here's the reading. I know I had Chapter 8 last week, but I want you to browse over it again. It'll help you out on outlining. Chapters 9 and 15. I think Chapters 9 is writing the introduction and the conclusion. So that'll help you out. And number 15 here is informative speaking. I want to go to the complete outline real quick and just show you something that you might be wondering about. As you come down here through the outline, you're reading the instructions. I put this little thing down here called RCT. It's called reinforcement, clincher, or tie downs. This is how you end a speech. And this will be in that chapter on conclusions. This is how it ends a speech. You don't end it with a thank you. But I want to let you know, if you say, well, what's a reinforcement, what's a clincher, what's a tie down? Come down to the bottom of the template here, and there I've defined them right there for you. Reinforcement is a narrative that reinforces the thesis. Tie down is a statistic, fact, quote, or some sort of last thought that clearly ends the speech. And a clincher is a narrative that refers back to your attention getter. All right, so do any of those. But here's your template. All you have to do is just start right up here. Come down here, copy it. This is for the final outline, by the way. This is due next Sunday. And then have it right there. But now you're going to have your list of references too. I show you APA format, and I also tell you up above in this assignment how to find APA to list your stuff that you get out of ProQuest. But anyway, this time though, when you come down here, I've talked about 3 points. First, how to choose the right soil. For example, then I'd say just one thing I've already said in the main point is that you put here. So don't bring in new information here. Just say one thing you've already said in one of your point up here. So if I go to the first point, I'd come up here to the first point. I'd find some piece of information out of here that I've already said, and then I'll say it here. We're just trying to jog the audience's memory back to that point, so they'll remember about it. Okay. All right, so that's an overall view of what you're going to be doing this week, and a little preview of what you're going to be doing next week. So if you have any questions, you know how to email me. You have the Ask Mr. Matson question on the discussion board, and I won't make the same mistake we made